preseason. How good do you feel for a guy like that?
It's tremendous. He's put in so much work. Hadn't played a lot of minutes. Played the early game during the year or during the preseason, and your hats off to guys like that have just continued to put the work in, never changed his way he's worked, and I'm just so excited for him. And those guys in that locker room were so excited for him as well.
We've seen, we've heard you talk about the bell ringing plays and all that throughout the course of the preseason. We've seen the team make the comeback in the fourth, both last game and this game. How important are those kind of momentum plays, and how have you liked how the guys have responded to those momentum plays on the bench to kind of build that energy up?
I mean, you watched our bench when we make some of those hustle plays that come down the stretch, a steal here, a block here, Jeff coming up with the steal and get the layup in transition. I mean, it's just, that's who they are. That's who we are. We're going to be resilient. We're going to be tough, and we're going to fight. We're going to fight, till that final horn goes off. But these guys have shown it, and that's what they've done. So those are big time plays for these guys.
Yeah, Melissa Thomas here, Florida National News. What was the conversation at halftime? Because we did see a bit of a difference, a kind of an increase in the guys' energy coming out into the second half.
Thank you, Melissa. It was just talked about that we can control what we can control. I think that's a big portion of it. Not getting too high, not getting too low, taking care of the basketball. We did a better job in the second half, and just trusting the pass, trusting your teammates. And then again, making them a little bit more uncomfortable. Them scoring 23 points in the third and the fourth is pretty good for us right now. So I think that's what we have to hang our hats on defensively, and that's how the guys turned it up.
Coach Cody Taylor, USA Today. What'd you see from Franz tonight? He had 7 points, I believe, but it seemed like he was making some deflections and had some steals there.
Cody, what Franz does is one of those things that's not going to show up on stat sheets. I'm telling you, like when it comes to the slip that he has at the right time, the deflection he has on the out of bounds as the ball's coming around the corner, he gets a deflection on it, wants to get the steal. He's switching on to smaller guards and sitting down and guarding them. I think just there's so many things that he does that his teammates recognize, and so they know how important he is for them on the floor.
We know you're still kind of experimenting with some things here in the preseason, but we saw you come out with a 2-3 zone there in the second quarter. What did you see from that? What did you like about it, and how it seemed like you were still kind of putting the pressure on the ball the way you like under man principles? How similar is the philosophy to when you're in your regular base set?
Well, the one thing that the zone does is it allows you to play with your, in your gaps, in your stance, and you have the length. And we have a long basketball team, so I think it allows just to change up out of timeout situations, and just different looks. If you're getting hit by the 3 ball, you want to change it up. You want to designate where those guys are getting shots. But our guys get a good job doing it on the fly, which was very good. They communicated, which is what we're constantly talking about. These guys being able to communicate with each other and cover for one another as the ball's up going around the horn.
How you doing, Coach? Stephon Gillum, 96.9 The Game. I want to know, how are you feeling about what you've seen out of Mo over these last 2 games? He seems to be showing himself and having presence on the floor, but feels like there's still a couple places he needs to tighten up.
Good question, Stephon. I really think that he's making so much progress. From you talk about, his conditioning is he's working his tail off. He's getting up and down the floor, blocking shots. He's protecting that rim. If you notice a couple times, on the switches, he's looking to get the duck in, and just his ability to just keep playing through has been really, really good. And his energy has been good.
Coach, how have you felt about the identity that this team has tried to establish, heading into the season, whether it be the pace at which you play or locking down defensively?
Great question. I really think that defensively we have done some things that we can hang our hat on. Them scoring 102, there was times in the game when it looked some situations that you're like, you wonder, okay, they make a couple threes here and there, but at the end of the day, we've kept our tone, we've kept our resilient attitude, and we just continue to fight. So that's the one thing that is just, setting the tone for us and who we are, defensive minded, and we're going to get after it every night.
Chris Cuff, 24 Flick Sports. Coach RJ seems to have much more confidence. Once he kind of calmed down from the energy, he was very, very effective, especially in the second half. Can you talk about his play?
Well, Chris, we try to continue to tell those guys, RJ, Cole, Jalen, the younger guards, just keep it simple. And when RJ keeps it simple, he's extremely effective. You know, you see he makes the right read and turn the corner. He rejects a pick and roll, gets down the lane. We actually drew up a play for him out of the timeout that, you know, they end up fouling, but he had a straight line drive for a layup. He made the simple play on the pass out around the perimeter, not trying to do too much. I really just think when he decides to keep it simple and he's aggressive in looking for a shot, he's very good.
Coach, we hear a lot of people talk about how young the team is and how they're growing, but they're not the only ones growing here. So as you wrap up the preseason, how has this preseason helped you to develop and grow as a coach for this NBA team?
Well, the great part about this team is that we're tight together, and the communication has been fantastic. So that's where I'm growing and learning a lot, is just how much these guys like to communicate what they see, what their suggestions are, listening to them, listening to my staff. I think that's the biggest growth that's been for me, is just being able to listen to different thoughts and points of view from each one of these guys, and they're all buying in for how bad they want to do it. So I'm enjoying that. That's the big portion of it.
All right. Thank you, Coach Mosley.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
RJ, Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com. You've been obviously with Jeff for a while through summer league, training camp, et cetera. For him to, you know, you've seen all the work he's put in. For him to close out preseason with a game-winning shot like that, just how good did you feel for him?
Oh, I felt great for Jeff. You know, I've seen Jeff, like you said, put in the work throughout this whole summer league, preseason training camp, and you know he deserves it, you know, as much as anyone on this team. And I had the utmost confidence in him when I seen him have the ball in those last seconds, and I knew that was good when it left his hands.
RJ, Phil Rossman, Orlando Magic Daily. We've heard about the bell ringing plays. We've heard about the kind of energy that you guys have brought to practice, but in the last two games, especially in the fourth quarter, we've seen that energy really build up both on the bench and on the court. How much impact does all that have on helping you guys kind of get the energy you need to keep moving forward and keep progressing?
Right. I mean, I think we practiced that. I think we practiced those bell plays. Even in practice where, you know, diving on the floor for loose balls, taking charges, just doing the dirty work. And I think really the fans help us bring that energy. And everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to play for each other. So there's nothing we won't do for the person next to us. And I think that's why you see those bell plays and those hustle plays that we've been making these last couple of games.
Hey, RJ, Stephon Gillum, 96.9 The Game. You seem to have fallen into a flow tonight and have a really good performance. How do you feel you're distinguishing yourself on this team and your ability to play?
Just by, you know, fitting in with the team. We have a lot of versatile guys on this team, and, you know, me being one of them. And I feel like just being comfortable, you know, with who I am as a player and who my teammates are. I think you don't force too much. You know, you do what you're asked to do, and you do it to the best of your abilities. And I think good results will always come out of that.
Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. What's a personal goal for you in terms of point of improvement that you want to work on now that, you know, the preseason is pretty much wrapped up?
Just being a team leader, being a guy on this team that, you know, players can voice their opinions to help us win as many basketball games as possible. Playing with some of these guys last year, and then, you know, knowing some of the new guys that have come to this team in the last couple months, I feel like I'm sort of like a glue guy and like a mediator with everybody. So being a leader and just making sure, you know, we're all staying in line. I want to win basketball games as much as anyone does. So, I mean, if winning basketball games is a personal goal, then I'll just go with that one.
You know the type of identity this team's tried to set, both defensively and with the pace. How do you feel looking back on the preseason? You guys are growing in that regard.
I think we're playing hard, and that's all you can ask for. We have a lot of young talent on this team that's not going to get it right away. You know, I don't expect, you know, us to go out and stop a team from scoring 1 point a game or 2 points a game. So we're going to have mistakes. We're going to have ups and downs, but playing together and listening to the coaching staff when it, you know, comes to defense and comes to these stops, I think we're all good listeners and we're open to anything. And, you know, we have a lot of guys that want to play for each other, play for the fans, play for the coaching staff. And, you know, winning goes into that, and, you know, making stops is winning. So we're going to do whatever it takes.
RJ, Chris Cuff for 24 Flicks. You're known for your athleticism. And we had mentioned before that when you were working, when you're out there on the floor and you have high energy, you're less effective. But when you are concentrated and more settled, you are more effective. And coach, we mentioned that to coach. He said that he tells you guys and preaches to you guys to keep it simple and you're much more effective on keeping it simple. Is that something that you definitely keep in mind when you're on the floor?
I think I just go out and play my game. Keeping it simple is definitely an area that, all the coaches focus on with every player. But I think one of my biggest strengths is my athleticism and my speed. And keep it simple, I think keep it simple for a lot of guys, or keep it simple for different guys means different things. So my athleticism, my transition, and my speed, that's keeping it simple for me. When I get the ball off the break, pushing the pace, finding open guys, getting to the rim, that's keeping it simple for me. Now, for somebody else, it might be different. But like you said, coach is preaching that to all of us. And then, good things happen when we do keep it simple in our own aspects, in our own ways.
Any final questions for RJ? All right. Thank
you
you very
guys.
much.
Jeff, Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com. We've seen you put in a lot of work with this staff dating all the way back to Summer League, for all that work to come to this moment at the end of the preseason and close it out with a game-winning shot. Just how good did that feel?
It felt amazing. And, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's process is different. And like you said, I've been putting a lot of work in with this organization and with this great group of coaching staff, great group of guys to be a part of. And just to end the preseason like this on a high note feels very good.
Jeff, this is Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. I'm just going to talk about, Coach was just talking about the importance of communication with you guys as a team. Just kind of talk about that, especially as we headed into that fourth quarter where you were able to make that clutch shot.
Yeah, definitely communication is a very important aspect for our team. And definitely late down the stretch, just being able to be on one accord, being able to know where guys are on the defensive end, being able to switch and communicate, things like that. Then on the offensive end, Boston likes to do a lot of switching. So just being able to call out those slips and things like that just keeps everybody, together as one unit. So definitely communication is very important.
We saw at the end of the game, your teammates kind of mob you a little bit. Coach just told us a little bit about the locker room celebration. What was that moment like for you?
It was surreal, man. Yeah, I'm still drenched right now. They threw ice water on me and a bunch of water on me. But, it just goes to show the great group of guys we have, the family atmosphere that we have. And, that's the type of locker room that you want to be a part of. Wins or losses, that team, we're always together, we're always rooting for one another, and we're always going to have each other's backs. And that's a great group of guys to be a part of.
Jeff, we've seen it throughout the preseason how everyone on the bench is into the game. You see them reacting after big plays. How much of an impact does that have on you guys? I know you had that one play where you had the 2 offensive rebounds and putbacks late, but how important are those energy plays and kind of building those energy and those bell ringing plays to help you guys get?
Yeah, and it was very important. Like I said, playing for, your teammates, playing for one another, it feels good. And just knowing that those guys are cheering you on, you could be playing 40 minutes a game, you can be playing 2 minutes a game, everybody's going to give great energy on the bench. Everybody's going to talk. Everybody's going to communicate. Everybody wants to see each other succeed. So, like I said, that's a great group of guys to be a part of. And, we just bring that energy and that camaraderie together.
So it looked like on that last shot, as you were coming down the court, the moment kind of hit you in the head. You looked around and kind of seemed like you found out you were the one that was there. What was it like going through your head when you realized, hey, this is on me?
It's so crazy, actually. Before the game even started, I was in the practice gym over there, working on getting into the paint, stopping on 2 feet rather than 1 foot, and making plays and making shots off of that. And it just kind of be like a surreal moment for me because, in that situation, that shot that I made was what I was working on earlier today. So it just goes to show how everything comes full circle. And, once Rolo got the defensive rebound and kicked it up to me, I just looked at the clock and it was like 5 seconds left. And I was like, I'm going to get downhill. I'm going to get to the paint. I'm going to try to make a play. Once they cut me off and I sped back, I looked up. It was like 1 second left. I got to get it up. And it just so happened to go in. So I'm just excited for that opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.